Hello everyone, nice to see you again on my channel. You know, there's this interesting thing that happens to some men as they grow older. They start believing that their best years are behind them. That attraction is a young man's game, and that confidence, style, and magnetism fade with age. But what they often miss is that some of the most irresistibly attractive traits a man can develop only show up with time, and what's even more fascinating, most older men don't even realize when it's happening. They are walking around thinking they've lost a step, when in reality, they've become the kind of man that turns heads without trying. The kind of man younger guys secretly admire and women quietly notice, but the signs are subtle. They don't scream. They whisper. And today, we're going to talk about those quiet signals. The ones that say you're not just attractive, you're irresistibly attractive, and probably don't even know it. Now let me be clear. We're not talking about having a chiseled jawline or hitting the gym 6 days a week. That's surface stuff. What we are talking about is presence. Energy. The kind of confidence that isn't loud but deeply felt. The kind of charm that doesn't try too hard because it doesn't have to. You see, as a man gets older, something happens to him if he's paying attention. He stops needing validation. He no longer walks into a room wondering if people will like him. He walks in already knowing who he is. That quiet sense of self, that's not just attractive, it's magnetic. It's what draws people in. Especially women. You might have noticed that younger women smile a little longer when you talk. Or they lean in just slightly when you speak, even when you're just being casual. It's not always about looks. It's about the way you carry yourself. The way your words land with more weight because they come from experience, not ego, and it's not just women. It's the way people respond to you in everyday life. Maybe the bartender gives you a free drink. Or people ask for your opinion. More often, even on small things. That's not luck. That's influence. And influence is one of the most attractive traits a man can possess, especially when he's not trying to show it off. What makes older men so irresistible is that they've survived things. They've been tested. There's something in your eyes that tells a story. A sense of calm that comes from knowing life doesn't have to be perfect for it to be good. And when you radiate that kind of groundedness, people, especially women, pick up on it. Even if they can't explain it, you don't chase energy anymore. You attract it. You're not rushing through conversations to prove a point. You listen more. And in a world filled with noise, that quiet confidence is rare and beautiful. There's also something deeply appealing about a man who knows what he wants, but doesn't need it. That subtle independence that says, I'd love to have you in my life, but I'm whole without you. That energy, it's not just attractive, it's irresistible. You see, younger men often feel the need to dominate the room. Older men, the ones who've done the inner work, don't need to dominate, they influence effortlessly. Their words are chosen more carefully. Their energy is measured. And their presence lingers. And let's not ignore the power of experience. When you've seen life from different angles, when you've had your heart broken, built things from the ground up, maybe even lost and found yourself again, you walk with a different kind of grace. You understand timing. You've learned that silence can say more than shouting. And that truth often reveals itself when you're patient enough to let it. Women pick up on that. It's not always conscious. But they feel safer. More understood. They sense that you won't overreact. That you don't need to play games. That you've grown past the insecurities that fuel so many modern relationships. There's also something undeniably attractive about emotional stability. When you don't flinch under pressure. When you're not easily thrown off by the chaos around you. That calm becomes an anchor for people who are searching for peace in a noisy world. And guess what? That's rare. That's gold. But here's the twist. Most men who carry these traits don't think of themselves as especially attractive. Because it's not performative. It's real. They are not trying to impress. They are just living in alignment with who they are. And that authenticity, it speaks louder than any pickup line ever could. You don't need to wear the trendiest clothes or drive the flashiest car. In fact, your simplicity is part of the appeal. There's something about a man who doesn't need to be seen, but is always noticed. You ever get that feeling when a woman's presence just lingers in your mind, like something about her gaze, her voice, her energy keeps pulling you in? And you can't quite tell if she's subtly inviting you closer or if it's just your imagination. Yeah, that line between curiosity and clarity is a wild place to be. Let's talk about something most men never get taught. Not by their fathers, not in school, and definitely not in modern dating advice. It's that unspoken language women speak when they are drawn to you, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it's everywhere once you know how to see it. See, women aren't always going to say it straight. They don't need to. Their entire psychology is built differently. While a man may show interest by making a move, asking a question, or being direct, a woman will often communicate attraction through presence, through attention, through the little things that happen between words. It's not just about what she says. It's about where her energy goes. When a woman wants you closer, she rarely shouts it from the rooftops. She invites it with a glance, a shift in tone, a quiet opening in her behavior that says, I see you. I want you to see me, too. And if you're tuned in, really tuned in, you'll notice how her energy doesn't just stay within her. It starts reaching toward you. Sometimes it's in the way she lingers when the conversation is over, like she's not quite ready to leave. Sometimes it's how she finds small reasons to touch your arm, your shoulder, places that don't scream intimacy, but whisper connection. And sometimes it's just in the way she listens. Not out of politeness. Out of curiosity. Out of interest. Out of something deeper than mere attention. Now, here's where most men miss it. They get stuck overanalyzing the signs, trying to decode every single thing she does, turning attraction into a checklist. But real connection, real chemistry, it doesn't work like that. It's not a formula. It's a feeling. A flow. And when a woman feels safe in your presence, when she senses your groundedness, your calm, your strength without pressure, that's when she lets herself be more open. That's when she allows you to step in just a little closer, emotionally and physically. She wants you to take the lead, not because she's weak, but because your leadership shows her that she can trust the space you're creating. Female psychology is wired toward intuition and subtlety. She feels everything. She notices everything. The tone in your voice, the energy behind your words, even your silences. If your presence makes her feel seen but not cornered, desired but not controlled, she'll start opening up in ways that don't look like flirting but feel like invitation. It might be in the way she remembers something small you said 2 weeks ago, or how she texts you just because something reminded her of you. She's making room for you in her world, and she's doing it without a big announcement. That's the psychology of attention. Women give their attention with intention, even when it seems casual. Especially when it seems casual. You have to understand, closeness isn't just physical. A woman wants to feel emotionally safe before anything else. She wants to know that when she lets her guard down, she's not going to regret it. And here's the paradox: the more space you give her to be herself, the more she gravitates toward you. Sometimes, she'll test your emotional depth without even realizing it. She might bring up a topic that seems random, or ask you something out of nowhere, just to see how you react. She's trying to feel out your edges, trying to understand what kind of man she's really dealing with. Are you surface level? Are you reactive? Or are you grounded enough to hold a deeper moment? When she starts trusting that you can hold that space, she relaxes. She starts showing more of herself, more freely, more openly. That's when you know she's drawing you in, not through words, but through presence. She's letting you see her. That's not just attraction. That's trust. And that's where real intimacy begins. Women also communicate through contrast. One day she's a little reserved, the next she's playfully challenging. She's not being inconsistent, she's revealing different shades of herself. And if she notices that you don't flinch, don't chase, don't get thrown off balance, she starts to feel something rare. She starts to feel magnetized. She wants you closer, but not in a way that takes her freedom. She wants you closer in a way that deepens the tension, the mystery, the slow burn. That's why real attraction isn't rushed. It builds. It intensifies. And when a man knows how to lead with calm strength, women feel that. It's also in her body language, but again, it's not textbook. Sure, there are the basics, leaning in, playing with her hair, mirroring you, but deeper than that is how her energy changes when you're near. Does she light up when you walk into the room? Does her tone shift when she says your name? Does she find reasons to extend the interaction, ask you questions, bring up shared memories, suggest ideas, *, even her silence is a sign. Some women won't say much, but their eyes will say everything. Their attention will stay on you, not just because they are curious, but because they are pulled. Drawn. That's desire before it becomes spoken. *, but here's the key, you'll never catch any of this if your mind is full of noise. If you're obsessing over, does she like me, or trying to force something to happen, you'll miss the entire dance. You've got to be still, present, aware. That's when the unspoken becomes crystal clear. *, and when you feel that subtle shift, that pull, that emotional gravity, you don't need to second guess. You just lead. Not by dominating the space, but by inviting the next step. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a conversation that goes deeper. Maybe it's a moment of eye contact that lingers just a little longer than usual. That's all it takes. And in that moment, she'll feel it too. She'll know you saw her signal and you met her halfway. *, so many guys wait for the obvious green light, and by the time they act, the moment's gone. But the real signs, the secret signs, they don't shout. They whisper. And you've got to be the kind of man who can hear that whisper, trust it, and act on it with confidence. *, and the truth is, when a woman wants you closer, she's not looking for perfection. She's not grading you on smooth lines or flawless moves. She's watching your presence, your intention, your calm. That's what earns her attention. That's what holds it. *, because at the day, it's not about tricks or tactics. It's about energy. If your presence feels like safety, strength, and real attention, if you see her, not just her body but her depth, she'll start coming closer before either of you realize it. *, you know what's wild? Most men are searching for signs, but they are not even present when those signs actually show up. A woman might be opening the door just enough for you to walk through, but if you're not grounded in your awareness, you'll either miss it entirely or hesitate so long that she quietly closes it again. *, women notice everything, man. That tiny shift in your mood. The way you look at her when she's not speaking. Whether you're truly listening or just waiting for your turn to talk. That's where attraction either deepens or dies. *, so when she wants you closer, it's not about proximity. It's about presence. She wants to feel you not in a needy or overwhelming way, but in a way that makes her feel safe, curious, and seen. That's what most men don't get. They try to perform instead of just being there, real and aware. And when you're performing, you're not leading. You're reacting. *, you want to know when she's signaling you to come closer. Pay attention to the stillness between her words. The moment she takes a breath and her eyes linger just a little longer. That's an emotional opening. She's letting you in not with her words, but with her energy. *, and it's not just about romance. This is deeper than that. This is the feminine energy inviting masculine presence to meet her where she is. Not to chase, not to fix, but to hold space, to hold eye contact, to hold truth. That's the kind of closeness that changes everything. *, think about how rare that is in today's world. Everyone's rushing, everyone's distracted, but here she is, pausing, leaning in, showing you pieces of herself she doesn't just show anyone. That's not an accident. That's not small. That's trust in motion. And trust is the root of closeness. *, there's something else too, something most guys overlook. When a woman starts subtly including you in her future, even casually, it's one of the most intimate signs that she's drawing you in. She might say something like, "You'd love this place I went to," or "We should go there sometime." It sounds simple, but that's her mind starting to build a bridge toward you. She's picturing you there. She's inviting you into her future, even if it's wrapped in a light moment. Most men miss that. But that's where her attention is. Going toward you, with you, about you. And here's something real: closeness isn't only about desire, it's also about permission. She's giving you silent permission to take the lead, to move things forward, to test the waters gently. It's a dance, and she's already swaying. The only question is, do you have the awareness and presence to step into that rhythm? A woman's emotional world is like a song. It has tempo, melody, softness, and intensity. But if you're just trying to fast forward to the chorus, you miss the beauty of the build-up. That build-up is where intimacy brews. That slow burn is where the real fire lives. And the man who knows how to move with that rhythm, he doesn't chase. He doesn't force. He doesn't beg for closeness. He earns it moment by moment, look by look, breath by breath. There's this myth that women want a man who always knows exactly what to do. That's not entirely true. What women are really drawn to is a man who's present enough to notice, to feel, to respond with intention instead of reaction. You don't need all the answers. You just need to be there. Fully. With your whole attention. That's where connection lives. And listen, if you've ever wondered whether she wants you to take things deeper, emotionally or even physically, ask yourself this: is she drawing closer emotionally when you speak your truth? Is she opening up more when you hold space for her vulnerability? If the answer is yes, then she's already inviting you to match that energy with your own. She's not just attracted to you, she's investing in you. There's also a quiet tension that builds when two people are circling around that unspoken connection. It's electric, but also sacred. It's not something you rush. It's something you hold. That tension is a signal. It means the door is open. The moment is alive. And all it takes is one conscious move to change everything. So maybe she starts telling you things she hasn't told anyone else. Or maybe she's a little more playful, a little more curious, asking deeper questions, leaning in closer than before. These aren't random behaviors. These are signs she wants you to bridge the distance. Not by rushing in, but by stepping up. Stepping forward. Leading. And here's the part no one tells you: she doesn't want to lead that moment. Even if she's strong, independent, confident. She wants to feel your intention. She wants to feel your presence step toward her without needing to ask. Because when she feels that energy, it lets her rest. It lets her receive. It lets her soften into the moment. That's what closeness does: it softens. It brings down walls, it quiets noise, it creates space. And if you're a man who knows how to be in that space, you'll find that the woman in front of you isn't just attracted to your looks or your words, she's pulled in by your emotional gravity. That's what female psychology is really pointing to. Not manipulation. Not games. Just a deep, timeless dance of energy and attention. And once you start seeing it for what it is, everything changes. You stop chasing. You start noticing. You stop guessing. You start leading. So next time you're with her and there's that quiet moment, where the air thickens just a little, where her gaze feels warmer, where the world slows down, don't look away. Don't crack a joke to break the tension. Don't retreat into overthinking. Just stay there. Feel it. Breathe. That's your cue. That's her signal. That's the moment.